Hello and welcome to Get Creative. I'm Evan Schmidt. Thanks for being here. My guest today is Monica Hershberger. She's the co-host of the Shattered Glass podcast. Hey Monica, thanks for coming on the show today. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am a non-profiteer, a gardener, a whiskey connoisseur, an Ohioan turned Pittsburgher, and of course also a feminist. And I am also a podcaster like yourself.
Yeah, and actually the whiskey is kind of how we met.
It
and
is.
Also your sister-in-law, but that's for another episode.
Right,
so,
right.
As a creative and a feminist and just an outgoing person, what's something really good that you've learned?
Well, I think that, in light of the podcast that I have created called Shattered Glass, it has been really important for me to know that women have important stories to share, and they have important messages for the world, and they're equal to men. So that I think that embracing that I was going to pursue equality as a kid, really, in college, I really embraced fighting for equal rights for men and women. And I think something that I've learned about that is that women are pretty unstoppable. And I started a podcast called Shattered Glass because women are shattering the glass ceiling, and they can't be held back. And so I've been really inspired by a lot of women's stories, and I continue to be daily inspired by them. So I will continue to share those stories.
Oh, please do. Yeah, the podcast is solid, and
thank you.
It's inspiring to see that somebody's doing that. I'm sure there are a lot more people than you, but yeah, it's really cool to see the podcast growing, and just everybody has a story to tell, and you're just one of those folks that's sharing the good stories that are out there. So that's really cool. So where can people find the podcast, and they can find you and maybe reach out to you if they want to get on the show?
Yeah. So Shattered Glass is online at shatteredglasspodcast.com. We're also, you can find the podcast, anywhere you find, what do they say at the end of NPR? You can find this podcast anywhere where you listen to podcasts.
And get the next episode in your sleep.
That's right. Yeah. So you can ask Alexa for our podcast. But yeah, you can find it on iTunes or Stitcher or SoundCloud. Also on our website, shatteredglasspodcast.com. And we're on Twitter at shatteredglasspod, and Facebook and Instagram. You can easily find us on all of those places. And we're happy to communicate with any of our fans, anyone with suggestions for guests. There are just people coming out of the woodwork with such interesting stories that have been really fun. We've interviewed a chef, we've interviewed a county controller, we've interviewed the owner of a whiskey distillery. We've also interviewed a writer for an NBC show, This Is Us. So, there are lots of women doing lots of cool things, and I hope that you all listen.
Yeah, and you just celebrated a 1 year of the show, right?
Yes, so we did. Yeah, so 1 year ago we started. It was the Tuesday after the inauguration. We shared our initial funding came from the Sprout Fund as through their 100 Days of Us program. So it was kind of focused on the first 100 days of the 45th president's residing in the White House. So we started right after the inauguration, and we've been releasing an episode every month of a different interview with a different woman.
Nice. Well, keep it going. It's a really good show. It's very inspiring. And Monica, thanks for sharing some time with us today and getting creative.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Thanks, Evan.
That's it for another episode of Get Creative. You can find more information about my guest in the show notes. Be sure to subscribe so that you get the next episode in your sleep, and please give the show a review. For more information about me, go to evanschmidt.com, follow me on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram, and check out my vlog on YouTube where I share lessons that I've learned. Thank you for listening. Now go get creative.